Hi guys, today we're going to be opening the Elspeth versus Kiora Duel decks. I'm Sammie.
I'm Frankie.
And we're going to be opening this up and seeing what's inside it and trying to give our opinion and review on whether it's worth the money and what you can get out of it, basically.
Okay, so we've laid out what was in the box. The box retails for $19.99, which we think is quite good value because Elspeth herself, non-foil Pharos version, is sitting at about $14, and she's almost a staple in standard if you play white at the moment.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, most control decks, if you have white in, although obviously blue-black control is quite high. If you have a white deck with a control element and you have Elspeth as your finisher.
Oh, absolutely. And she's very nice. She's nice alternate art. Hoping picks up quite nice foiling as well, actually.
I actually prefer this art because she looks slightly less like Justine Bieber.
Yeah, that does put a downer on the Pharos version.
And she's also foil, so you're getting quite good value for money. We've had a look at these decks before, and I've had a chance to play with one of them. And Elspeth's deck kind of revolves around the fact that she makes soldiers, and therefore the deck sort of works around buffing the soldiers, so making them a bit bigger, a bit punchier, kind of a swarm, just typical white weenies kind of play style that you would normally sort of do with white. But it also does have some tricks and sort of punch up its sleeve. So it's rares. We can see we have Decree of Justice, which works around the sort of soldier aspect when you cycle it. Sort of a trick with Dictate of Heliod with Flash to give your creatures extra punch. Captain of the Watch to buff your soldiers.
Good old Captain of the Watch.
Yeah. And we got a new art here from the Bird Soldier here. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may untap that creature and remove it from combat, which is quite a cool little trick. And Precinct Captain, which was originally in Ravnica, which whenever he does damage to a player, put a 1/1 white creature token onto the battlefield. So it's all about tokens, soldiers, and making them bigger.
Yeah, so Elspeth's very much being classic Bant here, but obviously in mono white. Get out the weenies, pump and when it's unexpected, I guess. As you can see there, there's a Dauntless Onslaught right there. There's plenty of spells like that in there that you can use to smack your opponent a bit harder, or generally save your creatures if someone tries to burn them off. And she's got a fairly basic land base with the Elspeth deck. There's 2 Secluded Steps, and the rest of them are just plains. And it comes with a couple of nice soldier tokens, which are it's the same art as the Pharos one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all obviously both of them come with a nice little box, but that will fit the entire deck in. But unfortunately, not if it's sleeved.
We'll move on to Kiora's deck for now.
Yeah.
So obviously we have another alternate art Kiora, looking very sort of come at me bro with stepping out of the water there.
Yeah, it's a very dark foil, but it works quite nicely for it.
Yeah, it's very nice. The sort of her armour and everything that she's wearing, although she's not wearing a lot of it, is sort of not the foiled part of it, so that's probably given the darker part, but her sort of blue skin and everything's all nice and foil, shows up really nicely under light. So she's all about drawing cards, bouncing things,
countering things.
Yeah, so she's basically kind of a tempo-y sort of card.
Yeah, with a bit of control thrown in.
Yeah. And she's also sort of rampy. I mean, her whole deck kind of sort of centres around ramp and bounce control, sort of basically trying to control the board. She does have a small problem against Elspeth decks, but she does sort of occasionally handle it well. I mean, if you look at the rares,
the general consensus is that the Elspeth deck is a little bit stronger than the Kiora deck, but we've not actually played them against each other yet.
Not yet.
So we can't back that up.
The Plasm Capture, so she's countering things, making some stuff. She's got a Whelming Wave,
which
so
I thought would see more play in standard, but it didn't.
Her deck is really good though, because it does contain lots of the sort of Leviathans, Krakens, and so she can like bounce everything other than her stuff. A Scourge of Fleets as well. A Simic Sky Swallow, which is terrifying whenever you put it out.
Yeah, it seems like endgame for Kiora is to ramp into these 2 big creatures at the end.
Yeah.
Both of them have trample. One has Island Walk, the other has flying. So one's evasive, and one, well, actually, the Island Walk isn't relevant against Elspeth, but it could be nasty in other scenarios.
Yeah, they also both have Shroud, so it's very hard for Elspeth to do very much about it.
What are you doing, Plasm Capture? Get back there.
Sit on there nicely, thank you.
It's all the plasm, it's sliding everywhere.
Well, we've obviously showed you that there's a couple of ultimate arts in here already. One of the other ones to focus on is the Temple of the False God, which is
so pretty.
EDH players, like, if you want a really nice Temple of the False God for your EDH deck, then I suggest you get this. It's also got lots of EDH staples like Mother of Ruins in it, so go for it. It's also got some fun tricks if you want to build either a Simic deck or a Soldier deck for EDH.
Yeah, there's lots of nice things in it as well. You got one of these and took quite a few Kiora parts out of it for your Tiny Leaders deck, didn't you?
Yeah, it's great for Tiny Leaders. I mean, there's lots of commons and non-commons that are great in Tiny Leaders. There's one of my favourites called Man of War, which is a jellyfish, which is a reprint legacy card, which is a 2/2, and when you play, you have to return a creature card to your owner's hand, so you can either bounce your own stuff to give you benefits or bounce someone else's. It's just a nice little tempo card for 3 mana, mono blue, kind of like what blue does, which is sometimes quite bad removal, but it still gets it off the board.
And similarly, obviously, the Elspeth deck's got generally quite low converted mana cost cards. Most of them can go in Tiny Leaders decks, seeing as that's that one can. They're seeing it's so hot at the moment.
I've actually seen someone who's bought this deck and has made a Tiny Leaders deck with this, especially on the white side of it.
It doesn't contain a commander, unfortunately.
No, but it does.
But
it does contain lots of the other stuff you can put in it. Some decent low drop creatures and some little pump spells and tricks.
You could almost build a mono white Tiny Leaders deck out of this entire box and then have a spare Elspeth.
Yep.
Yep.
Which is always nice.
Yeah. So I think now we're going to look at our top 5 cards from this box, excluding the Planeswalkers themselves.
Let's move on.
Okay, now we're going to show you what we think are the top 5 picks in this deck, apart from the rares. We've got one rare in there, but so first of all, we're going with Mother of Ruins. Alternate artwork. I personally prefer the old artwork. I don't know why. She just seems like a far more maternal figure in it. But Mother of Ruins is she's almost an EDH staple for white EDH decks. She's in the Legacy deck, Death and Taxes, as well as a couple of others. And she's just generally a good value creature. Turn 1 drop. She can she protect other creatures? Yeah, yep. She can protect herself as well with her ability. So that's our first pick.
Okay, so our second pick is Explore. So another sort of EDH staple. It's just a straight up what Kiora's -2 ability does. So you can play an additional land, so it's ramp, and also you can draw a card. So if you're having trouble finding land, you can always play it to draw a card to find your land to play and things like that. It's just generally a good card. 2 drop, very easily done. Good for EDH, good for anything else. Very good for Tiny Leaders.
Alternate artwork.
Also alternate artwork.
Yeah, and next up we've got, we spoke about it before, Temple of the False God. You can see Kiora there jumping out of the sea. I personally like this card because it's very purple.
Very purple.
Again, EDH staple. And just generally good value. I mean, I'm one of these people that unfortunately finds it in my opening hand all the time and like no other lands, which is a bit of a pain, but that's how it goes.
Okay, our next card is Precinct Captain. In the set that I sort of started in, great sort of mono white weenies card. It's great for EDH if you're doing a mono white one as well, and for Tiny Leaders. He's a 2/2 with straight up 2 double white mana, first strike, and whenever he deals damage to you, put a 1/1 white soldier creature token onto the battlefield, which is great because you just keep getting those dudes if they can't be blocked, which is amazing.
First strike there with other abilities.
He passes the vanilla test.
Yep. So the last card we picked, we definitely didn't pick it just because it's got an amazing name.
Well, you know that we never take the last card seriously at Midnight Magic here, so we have picked this amazing card with beautiful artwork and a brilliant name. It is called
Explosive Vegetation.
It's a 4-drop, search your library for 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So it's just straight up ramp, but the name just made us laugh.
Yeah, it made us chuckle. So this has been one of our one of our unboxing review things. We also, what else did we unbox? We unboxed the Sworn to Darkness
Commander deck, yeah.
So you can you can find that on an annotation probably, she says, making more editing.
I will put one here.
Oh yeah.
So we will put it down there. It will also be in the description for you so you can find it. I think this is really good money, and I do think if you want to get the Planeswalkers and you want to get a good staple for EDH and 20 leaders and a couple of things for standard, then go ahead and do it. It's really worth it.
Just generally really good value.